When did Yanun enter the body of Malachi Zior?
Okay. So first, he was seeded as a child, but he then fully entered his body when he in fact, if you go, in fact, thank you for that. Let me share something, because you can read the whole of this. If you go to our website, unitedsaviansworldwide.com, right?
Yeah.
On the homepage where
Yeah.
you say, where it shows you the Black Messiah, then it's got click to get your questions answered.
Okay.
If you click on that, I'm actually going to do it now as we, so it takes you to a page where you can ask Yanun any question. But at the bottom, there is a file where it says, unto us a savior is born, right?
Yeah.
If you click on that, I'm going to read it, but it's quite a lot, but I'll see how much I can get through. So it says, unto us a savior is born. This is what my blessed and holy mother told me, right? This is Malachi
Yeah.
talking about what his mother told him. It says, it was a warm summer night at 11:30 p.m. and the fishermen were mending their fishing nets as they did each Zamut day, as she was informed. 2. This was Monday, the Shabbat, year 1945 AD, when they noticed the 3 bright orbs or Nawar light that appeared to them to have appeared to come over the horizon or just appeared out of nowhere. 3. They saw a crash of lightning, no sound, no rain out of the east sky. 4. As they watched the lights dance in the night sky as if searching for something, suddenly the 3 of them just zoomed inland and seemed to hover over a certain place that the fishermen could not see from the seashore. 5. They were not alone. For this sighting, many others reported to the officials. 6. At the same time, in Tokoradi, Sekondi, government hospital laid 3 young Ghanaian women in the maternity ward, unaware that the 3 Mikbat crafts of light were hovering right above them. 7. The woman in the center of the room was of the Iwi, people of the Akan clan of Ghana. 8. Her name was Maria or Marie Abba Okran. 9. She was born on the 10th day of the 3rd month in the year 1925 AD, age 19. My mother by DNA. And there's a picture of her there, and then it carries on. 10. The male doctor assigned to deliver her mukrad, her child, in the strangest of ways, no matter how he tried to get to the hospital, could not get there, as if something was keeping him away that very day. 11. For Maria was to deliver her mukrad child that day or soon after, yet she had no pains of labor, as the other 2 women who laid in their beds on either side of her, both were in great pain, crying for relief. 12. And the attending nurses were on standby for them to comfort and deliver whichever mukrad child came forth first. And there's a picture there as well of the hospital and everything. 13. Suddenly the whole room lit up with this bright khadr, green light. And in amazement, the 4 nurses and 3 waiting mothers saw these very tall, dark-skinned men in illuminating white robes. Yeah, we showed them in our extraterrestrial video, with large larat eyes. 14. One of the 4 nurses in fear attempted to run and get security, yet she could not move. 15. Another yelled at them, "How did you get in here?" And another said, "Just who are you?" 16. The 3 Mustad Hayin Matha extraterrestrials smiled. 17. The 3 men stood around the bed of Maria and smiled at her and said, "Maria, Mary," and all 3 expecting mothers answered yes. 18. They, the 3 women, being from 2 different tribes and clans from different parts of Ghana, did not know one another, nor that each of their actual Rananat names were the same. Yeah, so they were all called Maria, Mary, Mariam. 19. Looking at the Mary between them, they both said, "Your name is also Mary." And she said, "Yes." 20. "How strange is this?" one said to her. 21. Looking back up at the three men standing there, one said to Maria, I am Razwan. And another of them said, "I am Zanun." And the third said, "I am Zakun." Right? It shows a picture of the three. And then it goes on, 22. "We are from Mahab, planet Mazak, in the highest abode, Malay, Ilion." 3. The three of them reached towards one another and interlocked their right hands and said, "We three do meet and agree in perfect harmony." And a strange sound was heard by all, and a Khazir, green glowing orb, appeared in the center of their Yadadat hands. 24. And in harmony they, looking at Miriam's stomach, said, "And that is Yanun," right? And then there's a picture of the Ilion star system, the tri-solar system. 25. The orb entered Raya's head of Maria, and her water broke forth in two streams like Laben, white, and Chakel, Nialtui, blue Niles. And still she felt no pain as the nurses rushed forth to catch the baby, and stated it's a male child. 26. It was exactly 12 midnight. The day is now the 26th of the 6th month, June, on Tuesday, the year 1945 AD. Unto Africa a divine child is born, Yanun in his person, and the person was named in Ghana Malachi Kobina York, and his extended family is Jazir Abba in Sudan, named him Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi. 27. Once the three men separated hands above Maria, the one of them, Razun, took hold of the baby's right hand and materialized a small gold rod. At closer look, it was in fact a zarab, a pen. 28. And the second one of them, Zanun, took hold of the baby's left hand, and his own hand materialized a clear glass vessel with Nabet Habar, gold ink, glowing. And the third of them, Zakun, clapped his hands together, and they appeared a small clear warak, papyrus page. And there's pictures of the pen, the gold ink. And 29, it says, and the first of them led the hand of the Mukrad, child, with the pen in it, to dip the head of the pen in the gold glowing ink, and withdrew it. 30. The third of them stepped forward, and the first of them, with his hand over the baby boy holding the golden pen, touched the clear page, and immediately letters and madat words appeared on the page that none of them read. 31. All stood watching with mouths open wide, yet they could not speak a word. 32. The baby looked at each of them, and from inside of him was heard a male's voice speaking in their own Milsan tongue, and each of the Mukwanu beings rose upward and out of the ceiling, were gone from sight. 33. All activities came back, and the four nurses came towards Maria to take the child to be washed and wrapped in swaddling cloth, navel cut, cleaned, and then returned to the mother. 34. The baby just looked at his Muldatat mother. 35. The child spoke to her that only she could hear, because the other two Marys began to yell again in childbearing, and at the same time both women's waters broke forth, and the Sawatatwi, two daughters, came forth crying as is the normal. 36. On the other side, the fishermen and other townspersons said, "Look," seeing the lights raise up towards the sky, a dazzling mikhbad craft from afar off, and it began to move once again right over them, hover over the Maye water, and then in the twinkle of an eye upward, they were gone. 37. Back at the hospital, the other two Marys gave birth to two healthy, beautiful Fataitat Masastwi girl babies. 38. The next day, 26 June 1945 AD, Tuesday, the relative of Maria came to collect her and take her home with me in her arms. As this child grew, he did not speak one word to anyone except his mother, who was the only one that could hear him speak. And his first words for all to hear was when he was 4 years old, 4 months, the 4th day of the week. And they were the three names: 1, Razun; 2, Zanun; 3, Zakun. And she heard him say, I am Yanun. Then there's a picture of Yanun. Okay. I've got it right here. This picture that you're looking at here, that's the same picture. And then, let's keep going. All heard this and asked Maria, what is he saying? Maria just smiled and remembered that night that he was born, and the lightning all saw in the sky, yet no sound, no, I can't read that, no rain. She contacted her ex-husband, David Piper York, to help her get documents so she can bring the child to America to join her other two children, a son, David Piper York Jr., and a daughter, Del Elaine Nora York, bringing him from the east to the west. And let me see if I want to read the rest of it or jump, because yes, okay, let me just jump a little bit to, I'm going to jump to 45. The bright light turned out to be a Hebrew Strong's number 3519, kabod, a craft. 46. I was abducted by 3 Mukwan'u beings. 47. I first thought they were Mukradu, children, like myself. 48. There were in fact greys named Kriel, Sa'at, Alomar. Right. 49. I was taken to a craft, Hebrew Strong's number 1300, Barak, brightly shining, dazzling craft, and taken to a bigger craft in 1953 AD, again at age 13. I was abducted again by the same Murmadu greys, and one other was with them, this time a new female named Ariama. 51. This was in 1957 AD, and this is my story, so let me complete it. 52. When I asked the leader of the Murmadu Greys, who is this fourth Grey, Ariama, and why was she not with them in 1953 AD? 53. Kriel said she was in the craft, and at that time they landed in Kentucky, and she was shot by humans and had to be Ba'uth, resurrected, yet she is well. 54. She is the consort of Sa'at. 55. This time they took me for 3 days and nights, returned me on Wednesday morning on the back step of the house in New Jersey. I had seen many things. 56. My great aunt beat me, thinking I had run away because I wanted to live with my mother, brothers and sisters. 57. I tried to explain, yet who would believe the story? 58. One thing was new with me. An operation was performed on me while up on the mothercraft in outer space. 59. Some kind of small implant was put up in my Yanap nose. 60. Yet each night my nose would hemorrhage lots of damam, blood, and would not stop. 61. So my great aunt took me to see a doctor, and he removed a small egg-shaped object. 62. He said it must have come from a toy like a baby, and that was that. 63. The bleeding stopped, yet the greys still come to me to this very Zamut day. I have been taken to many Mikab Nasak at star system, met many aliens, yet taken into Mount Shasta and to an underwater city, and the Muzraqu Riskians came and took me to Mazrak Risk and transformed me so that I could see my inner being, Yanun. And there's a picture of Mount Shasta there. Then 65, at age 13, when I returned to the west from the east to Harlem, New York, taken by brother Omar Abdullah Oscar Love Jr., as ordered by Sheikh Dawood Ahmed Faisal of the 143 State Street, Brooklyn, New York Masjid. 66, I was taken to Rabbi Wentworth Arthur Matthew of the Commandment Keepers Ethiopian Hebrew Congregation in Harlem to receive my bar mitzvah in 1957 AD. And there's a picture of that mosque, the Islamic Mission of America. And I'm trying to see if I can jump to the... This is a very interesting reading. But to go back to your question, he was seeded as a child, and as he grew up, he became more and more aware of the being. And in fact, it's actually quite amazing today that the video we put out on extraterrestrials, and you're asking a question, and we're talking about the three Riskians. This is where they get the story of the three wise men. And you also saw the craft being called, where you also picked that up in Islam, where they talk about the Burak, right? And then that question you're asking, let me just read the last part, because I want to also show you. So, right, I'm going to go from 74, yeah? And I spoke to them of what is to come, and how many will come and claim to be me, and will not be. Many will pretend to be able to save our Salah race, and will fail. 76. Those not of our race, the pure black seed, will come among you with their own forms of teaching, and even deceive the very elect of you. 77. Some will claim they are prophets, even Mudgaru, deities. 78. Some will offer wealth and fame. Be not deceived by them, wolves in sheep garments. 79. They sat down and listened. After 3 hours, Omar and I departed, and he said, it's time for you to cover who you are until the right day and time. 80. I said, that will be 1970 AD. 81. Omar asked, why 1970 AD, Isa? 82. I said, only then can I open the seventh seal and reveal that which has been shut up since Daniel, or din of El, religion. 83. Judgment of El, and break the spell of faith and beliefs. Replace the spell of ignorance. 84. That hypnotic spell of sleep cast upon our race by the witches of Giborim, the Giborim. Daniel 7:9 to 10. 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, thousands ministers unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. Right, so that's the King James Version, 1611 AD. 85. What is that? He said. 86. I said, I will reveal all of this at the right time. 87. He said, when is the right time? 88. I said, when the government is upon my shoulder after the year 2000 AD, 6,000 years hereafter. 89. He looked confused. I smiled and said, let's go. Now, when you go to a man from Planet Risk, he explains again the entire encounter with him becoming and knowing that he was Yanun, and I'm going to try and find that in a minute. But yeah, so I don't know if you have anything in the meantime whilst I'm looking for this to say, but he was okay, here we go. Let me just read this. Don't forget whatever you want to come back on, write it down or something, right? Okay, here we go. This is a question on page 23, right? He said, someone asked, you have been teaching on disputable facts for over 25 years. How did you manage to learn and teach so much information for the amount of years you have? Answer, I am a being from the 19th galaxy called Yaanuwn. We have been coming to this planet before it had your life form on it. I manifest into this body to speak through this body. I am an entity, an etheric being, right? We watched the 3 other cycles of 18,000 years, 2 moons and 1 sun, which is part of your 24,000 year cycle, the equinox. The removal of the dust cloud from light to darkness, then to light again. I incarnated into this realm from time to time. My incarnation as an Illa Mutajasid or Avatara was originally in the year 1945 AD. That's what we just read, right, in the hospital. In order to get here, I traveled by one of the smaller passenger crafts called Sham, out of a mother plane called Makaba or Nibiru. Then in 1970 AD was my time to come in flesh to start my work of breaking the spell of sleep, also called the spell of Leviathan or Kingu, the moon spell or lunatic state of mind, with the power as the sun of righteousness, Malachi chapter 4 verse 2. Earth astronomers thought it was a comet, which they called Bennett. That appeared on March 16, 1970 AD, 4 months before my 25th birthday, June 26, 1970 AD, the opening of the seventh seal, which marked the beginning of the Aquarian age. An astrophysicist named Ricardo Ciaccone sent up a satellite from Kenya, Africa in the year 1970 AD to study X-rays in the sky for 3 years, trying to map our coming. The satellite was called Uhuru, which in the African language called Swahili is freedom. Swahili is made from 2 different languages called Bantu and Arabic. That was a language created for the slave trade that occurred in Zanzibar between the Arabs and the scientists. And the scientists were well aware of our coming and called us Bennett. I, Yanun, am an Anunnaki, or we know now more as the Nataru, remember again, I have to point this out, how old this scroll is. And at that time, he was taking us through the Sumerian schools. And just like when we went through all the other schools, he would refer to us in the names of that school. So even though it was using Anunnaki here, it wasn't applying to all of us, right? Because we know now with greater insight that we're the Natharu. Anyway, he said, what you would call an extraterrestrial. Look at this extra meaning in addition to terra, of the earth, astral, or from the stars. I am what you call an angelic being, an Elohim from the 8th planet called Risk, which has 1 moon, Shishki, of its own. This galaxy, the 19th galaxy called Yaanuwn, originally referred to as heaven, known as Elysium in Greek, has 3 suns, Shamash 1, 2, Utu, 3 Apsu, which means a tri-solar system with 38 moons and 19 planets, each with its own number of moons. I have incarnated here in this form to act as a human being for the sole purpose of saving the children of the Panatharu, which again there you saw the children of the Elohim Anunnaki, the Banat, which is the same word as Bennett, right? The chosen 144,000, just as Mary of 2,000 years ago was chosen by the Most High and called an alien, which is Ali and En, right? En, both of which are names of Anu, to breed the holy thing called Yeshua or Jesus, real name Tammuz, called Horus. So 2, the Banat will breed the savior of this time if they hold firm to the rope on your planet Earth. The planet Earth is also referred to as Orb Ad, Adwat, or Ki Terra, or even Tiwawat and Tamtu, meaning made of life. However, it was originally called Tema. I, Yanun, have come to save the children of the Most High, or the Elohim Anunnaki, from being killed as you bring your planet near to what could be its total destruction. Yeah, so this is actually ironic because the question before you was talking about the state of the world, and it's no coincidence we dropped the video on extraterrestrial. We're now reading about the extraterrestrials that came and how Yanun came. So yeah, I mean, if you want to read the entire thing and even more up-to-date information in the scroll called the Akasha Records, he goes even into more detail in there about who he is and why he's able to do the things that he does.